What up YouTube, Jordan Redeye back for another video today. And you're not going to want to miss this one today because we're putting on our ported Supercharger Snout, a 105 throttle body, Supercharger lid spacer, cleaning up the Supercharger, putting it back together so we can get that 1,000 wheel horsepower on the Redeye. So let's go! What up YouTube? Back for a huge one today. Yes, look at all this crap I got today. I have boxes everywhere. You can see all the bubble wrap everywhere. But yeah, check out this Snout we got back. All ported and polished, looking beautiful. You can see ported to 105, and then we have our 105 throttle body here. We're gonna throw right there. We do have one additional mod that I haven't told you guys about, and it is a Fast Moto Supercharger lid spacer, which goes right under the lid right there and gives us another about inch of space in the Supercharger. Reason for that is increased airflow, but also to make the airflow less turbulent, to give it a little more room, make it a little more comfortable so the pressure doesn't get too much in there and blow a hole in it. I'm going to show you some pictures right now of a Supercharger that just blew up on the racetrack a couple weeks ago. Yellow Jacket Hellcat, I think he blew his third blower in a row, so yeah. He has a lot of power, but yeah, that's what can happen if your Supercharger is under a ton of pressure. So yeah, check those out. But we have some work to do before we put all this stuff on the car, so I'm going to show you guys that. Number one is clean up this crap. It was super dirty, so we're going to use some brake cleaner. That's the secret right there, and some microfibers. Clean up the Supercharger lid. Also got to clean up the rotors on the car and the actual blower, super dirty. The intake is crap all in it, so we got to clean that out. We also need to make a gasket for our 105 throttle body, which is right here. Alex gave me this piece, but it did not have a gasket in it, so we're going to use a little rubber gasket maker to make it, and just stick it right in there. Yeah, and then we'll throw it all together, bolt it back up. The lid actually requires us to use different bolts because we increase that inch, so obviously you need longer bolts. So we got the huge ones right here. We got like the 16 little ones, they're a little longer right there. You also need a spacer for the bypass valve. So that comes with a little spacer and new bolts, so that this makes it right there. Yeah. So I think first things first, let's make a gasket. Alright guys, so we made our gasket. Actually looks pretty damn good, honestly. Does it fit perfectly 1,000,000%? No, but it is flush in there, and we got all the way around with one piece. Didn't do multiple pieces, so pretty satisfied here. Alright y'all, onto the lid. Let's see what this brake cleaner can do. My boy Miguel recommended using this, so yeah, let's spray it in there. See what happens. Oh yeah, it's cleaning it right up. Ooh, that is nasty. Look at that shit pulling up at the bottom. Gross. But wow, that definitely works. So if you ever need to clean out your supercharger, that is the move right there. And really, we gotta go find our leak. I'm thinking it was the intake, because the intake was so dirty. So we're gonna make sure that thing is nice and tightened up before we get back to running it. But yeah, all right, clean this up and get down there. It's actually crazy how much that worked. Before and after right there. We're gonna hit it one more time, but also gonna get the bypass valve in here. So alright guys, check what just came out of the bypass valve. We have a serious leak in there that we really got to fix. So we're actually going to replace all of our gaskets. So remember when we opened it up, we had 2 missing, so we only have 4 in there. But our guy Alex gave us a fresh kit right here, so we're gonna just replace them all, and then if we lose any, we'll use the ones that were already in there. So yeah, we're gonna do still a little more cleaning on this guy, and then we're gonna use the air sprayer that we have and get out any dust, especially in these little cracks where the gaskets go, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Alright guys, so now we're gonna clean the stuff that we couldn't take off. So number 1 is the blower right in here. Put a little brake cleaner on the microfiber. Man, it just cleans that stuff right away. It's crazy. We want to clean these intercoolers up a little bit, but we don't want to spray brake cleaner in them, obviously. So we're going to just try and use our microfibers as best we can and see what we come up with. But then we also have to clean this air filter, because this thing is doing pretty much absolutely nothing. You can see all the crap in here. And then our intake is disgusting, so it's probably why that looks like it does. So we also got some belt in here. You can see that is just straight belt we gotta clean off, but when we're all done, should be looking super nice. Alright guys, we are back. It is nighttime now. We took a little break, but it is time to put the throttle body onto the snout. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So we made our little gasket. It looks beautiful. Okay, don't look too closely. But it's good enough. All right, so we're going to put it this way so that the center is on the back side of it. And then this side over here is where you put the intake on. So we're just going to put our 4 bolts through that were provided for us. So let's get that first one on. It takes a little socket extension. Once we get this on, we're gonna go down there and start throwing pieces together, start throwing sensors back on, and we should be looking extra good. Let's go. Alright guys, back down to BK. We got our snout here with our 105 throttle body ready to go back in. While we're doing this, we're actually going to charge up the Redeye because it is completely dead. So we're going to hook up with some cables, start up Amber's Tiguan, and get to work. So yeah, you can see we got our snout and throttle body. We got our lid spacer and our nice and fresh cleaned up lid. Looks great. So the only thing we have left to do is just clean out this air filter. Still pretty nasty in there. I'm bleeding already. I just hit my hand on the charger mirror and I don't know what happened, but used to it, so yeah, let's get to it. Alright guys, so we got our air filter off. Got a nice little dead bee in there. Didn't see that at first, but to get it off, it's just 3 T25 Torx bits right there. Our bee friend doesn't want to come out. Ooh. Dude! Alright guys, so we have got the snout back on and the throttle body looking beautiful. We're gonna reconnect up some sensors. Right now we're gonna do the map sensor here. We're actually waiting for our air filter to dry out. Don't try this at home, probably not the best thing, but I used brake cleaner on that as well because it was absolutely disgusting, and I'm positive that's what was causing all the dirt in the engine, or in the supercharger and in the snout and all that. So used brake cleaner because I had to get the crap out of the filter just on the outside. So used the brake cleaner and then actually cleaned it with water right after. It actually took off some of the red coloring, but that's fine as long as it takes out the dirt too. And it's actually super clean on the inside. No, nothing really came through. I didn't soak it too crazy, so we're letting all the water and brake cleaner drain out so we can get rid of that, put that back in, hook up everything. But yeah, we're gonna do this map sensor real quick, hook up all these little sensors that we can, let the intake dry a little bit more, and then we're gonna move on to the lid. So that is the next project. Get the lid, figure out how to put everything back, all the new bolts in there, and yeah, show you how it's done. So we got our lid spacer here, which is going to go right on top in here. Nice and beautiful. Right there. So there's actually the stock gasket underneath, and then there's a gasket that runs in here between the spacer and the lid. So then we're going to throw the lid on top. All right guys, so for the electronic bypass valve, we actually need to throw a spacer underneath of it, because since we're about an inch up here, in order for this to hit this part right here, we need a spacer. So we're going to take off these T30s right here and replace them with these longer bolts right here, and throw our spacer in so we're nice and lined up. So we'll be back. Alright guys, so the next step for the lid is actually these little spacers in here. So we have to put these three guys here, and there's a little screw that comes with it. So you got to actually roll this screw up halfway, and it has a little Allen wrench connection on the top. Yeah, so you're going to go ahead and screw it in like this until you get it tight. Then you're going to come in with an Allen wrench, give it just a little more. Good to go. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and throw the lid on. We've replaced our two missing gaskets, so we have 6 fresh new green gaskets going in. Alright. Alright, I think we're looking good. Bypass valve just needs to jam down in there. Alright guys, so we got our lid on, right? Looks like we got most of our sensors back in. We need to plug this guy up right here, but so we actually reused these 3 bolts right here. They give us 2 new bolts for the front ones that are a little bit longer. So that's cool. And then they give us the 10 massive bolts that are a little bit longer, and the 16 bolts that go around the lid as well. So we're going to time warp you, drilling those in right now, and then we'll tighten them all to spec.
Make it drop.
Alright guys, we finished up the complete supercharger rebuild. Took us till 4 in the morning. We were all dirty, as you can see. It's the next day. Too tired to even do an outro, so. But yeah, check this thing out. The 105 throttle body looks awesome. We got the whole intake all put back in, cleaned up. The whole inside cleaned up. This lid looks just incredible. You can see our fresh new bolts all in there. So yeah, now it is time to get that thing back on the dyno, crack the 1,000 wheel horsepower mark, and then throw it down in the streets and at the track and see what we can do, guys. So yeah, we ran 9.9 at 4,000 DA. Can't wait to see what we can do coming up in this boost weather real soon. So Jordan Lance, Redeye Racing, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.